To continue reading. This reading out loud is to learn and improve English reading skill and to educate the Buddha's teaching via the Buddhadasa Bhikkhus book titled Handbook for Mankind. And maybe read unclear or not correct pronunciation or stress on each word. By the way, I try my best to read out loud based on my self-learning background and my own accent. Let's get started. Page number 107, backward for 106 first. Because it's continual of this sentence. They are like a forest full of dangerous beasts. And anyone seek diversion in the forest finds nothing pleasing there. Check around half of the page. This awareness of the danger inherent in all phenomenon existence is the fourth step. When all things are seen to be in every way full of danger, it gives rise to disenchantment. Things are seen as resembling a burnt out house of which nothing remains but ashes and a skeleton, utterly unattractive. Disenchantment with having to be associated with conditioned things is the fifth step in the developing of knowledge. When genuine disenchantment has become established, there arises a desire to become really free from those things. This is quite unlike our ordinary desire for freedom, which, lacking the power of concentration, or insight to boost it up. It's not real desire for freedom. The disenchantment arising out of vipassana insight involves the entire mind, and the desire for freedom is as great as the disenchantment. So it's very real and genuine. This desire to escape from the unsatisfactoriness of phenomenon existence is as great as the desire for freedom of a fox struggling to escape from a snake's jaws, or the desire for freedom of a deer or bird struggling to break loose from a snare. This real desire to escape from unsatisfactoriness is the sixth step. D. Now, with the full development of the desire to escape, there arises a feeling of an intense struggling to find a way out, an ever-present feeling that phenomenon existence, being as it is. One has to escape from it, introspecting. One perceives the clinging, and one perceives the defilements that are the cause of the mind's bondage. The factors binding in securely to that condition. Consequently, one seeks for ways of weakening the defilements. Then seeing the defilements weaken, one sets about destroying them completely. This weakening of the defilements is illustrated by means of a simile. A man goes to his fish trap and pulls out a snake, thinking it to be a fish. When told it is a snake, he doesn't believe it, at least not until he meets a wise. Benevolent. Benevolent. Pronunciation. Benevolent. Benevolent. กุศล Benevolent กุศล and sympathetic teacher who guides and instructs him so that he comes to realize that it is in fact a snake. He then becomes afraid and searches about for a means of killing it. มีวิธีการ He grabs the snake by the neck and lifting it above its head, swings it in a circle until it is worn out and falls down dead. Fall down dead. This simile, simile,
Simile. Simile.
simile ใช่ simile ไม่ใช่ smile simile เป็นการเปรียบเทียบ
Simile.
simile การเปรียบเทียบ this simile 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 this simile this simile illustrates the arising of the knowledge that the defilements are the cause of people's bondage to a condition much to be feared and dreaded. Similarly, if one has no technique for reducing the force of the defilements day by day, eradicating them is bound to be impossible. The power of the defilements far exceeds that of the still meager knowledge to be used in destroying them. Hence, knowledge must be developed and increased, and the suffering produced by the defilements will simultaneously diminish. ไม่ใช่ diminish
Demeaning.
diminish always maintaining and developing the knowledge simile that all things are transient, worthless, and devoid of selfhood, that they are not worth getting or being, serves to cut off the food supply to the defilements, awakening them day by day. It behoves us to build ourselves up, develop, become more skillful and ingenious,
Ingenious.
Ingenious. By this means, we can conquer defilements, the size of mountains, small though we may be. Our situation can be compared to that of a small mouse faced with the job of killing several tigers. We have to be really steadfast and always on the lookout for means appropriate to a small mouse. If we get nowhere, we must use all sorts of devices and techniques to weaken those tigers day by day rather than trying to kill them outright. This intense search for a way of escape constitutes the seventh step in the knowledge and vision of the progress along the path. H. This weakening of the defilements serves to make us progressively more and more independent of and oblivious to things. So this next step in the developing of right understanding, which results in imperturbability with respect to all things, consists in seeing all phenomena as empty, as devoid of essence, as devoid of status such as animal, animal or person, devoid of substance or real performance, devoid of worth, because they are thoroughly unsatisfactory and devoid of all attraction, because they are thoroughly disenchanting. Ultimately, the mind becomes independent of and unperturbed by anything in any real อ่านยากนะคำนี้ real อ่านอ่านยากนะ rain คำว่า rain rain
realm,
real
realm,
real
realm,
real real อืม realm realm of existence things formerly likable, desirable, and infatuating come to be seen as lumps of rock and earth. This too has been explained by means of uh, simile จำเลยคำนี้ simile a man who has always loved a certain woman may one day experience a change of heart and stop loving her. For instance, he will stop loving his wife if she is unfaithful. Once divorced, however, he is free to go ahead and do as he pleases. His mind can be unperturbed, perturbed, unperturbed, unperturbed. And at this level of knowledge, conditions hit hitherto hit the hitherto
Hitherto.
hitherto จนกระทั่งเดี๋ยวนี้
Hitherto.
hitherto ไม่เคยเห็นคำนี้ hitherto delightful each in its own way are recognized as devoid of substance.
Devoid.
Divine of substance, devoid trend, so that one can be independent of them and unperturbed by them in all circumstances. Just like the man who becomes independent on divorcing his wife, this indifference to all phenomena is the eighth step. The mind thus independent of and unmoved by all phenomenon existence is ready to perfect the path and know the Four Noble Truths. At this stage, one is all set to overcome the defilements, to break the fetters binding one to the world and become an area of one degree or another. This is the ninth step in the process of knowledge and vision of the progress along the path. When this stepwise developing of knowledge, from knowledge of arising and passing away up to the state of readiness to perceive the Four Noble Truths has been carried through to completion, one is said to have achieved the fourth state in Vipassana, or the sixth purification. The pure and perfect knowledge it yields is an instrument that reveals to the meditator the path by which he has come and can lead on to the perfect intuitive insight that will destroy the defilements. This perfect intuitive insight or purify of knowledge and vision The seventh purification is the insight that arises out of the perfected path. It is the goal, the fruit of vipassana practice. This insight that arises out of the perfected path is the fifth and final stage in vipassana. In between the stage of readiness, in between the state of readiness to perceive the noble truths and this perfect intuitive insight comes qualified knowledge, which marks the point of transition from the ordinary defined individual to the Araya. Ari Arian. Arijan. But this qualification knowledge lasts only an instant. It is the combination of the progressive perfection of knowledge and is still at the level of good karma. Good karma, still in the sensual realm, 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 realm. To sum up, then Vipassana has as its foundation morality and concentration. What do we examine? The answer is we examine all things, or to use other terms, the world or phenomenon, existence, or conditioned things, or the five aggregates. Since all phenomenon existence consists of nothing apart from the five aggregates. What do we aim at seeing as a result? This scrutiny. We aim at seeing the transience, the unsatisfactoriness, the non-selfhood inherent in all things in the world. We observe them arising, persisting, and ceasing until we come to perceive them as absorbed, until we come to perceive them as absolutely fearsome and disenchanting, and realize that nothing is worth getting or being. These are the conditions that are to arise in Vipassana practice. What is the object of Vipassana? The immediate object of Vipassana is to reduce delusion. The meaning of Vipassana being clear vision What is the fruit of Vipassana? The fruit is the arising of clear intuitive insight, clear and enduring insight into the nature of all things, which ultimately will reduce the defilements to nothing. With the defilements gone, there is just perfection, enlightenment, peace. Nothing remains to bind the mind to any worldly condition. As a result, there comes about a slipping free from the world, this press of slavery to sensuality. The mind is freed of suffering because it's free for good of all craving or desire. The Buddha called this the attainment of the cessation of suffering, the attainment of the fruit of the path, nirvana. To have achieved this is to have carried out to completion the task Buddhism has set for us. This shows us the part of insight that has to be walked. There are 7 stages of purification, which must be integrated in this way, and 9 steps in the process of developing knowledge of the world. These taken together are known as Vipassana. In the text, it is set out as an ordered system. The final details can be found in the books written by later teachers. There is one important thing that must be realized. However, in order to avoid misunderstanding, it so happens that even in the field of Dhamma practice, the highest aspect of Buddhism, there are misguided people. At the present time, there are many who have got hold of things that are not Vipassana at all and are presenting them as being the real thing. They have made Vipassana practice their means of livelihood. They win people over in order to get classes together, then proceed to certify them as noble ones, modern style, all of which is most despicable and regrettable. Emancipation from the world. 9. Vipassana. Meditation is mental training aimed at raising the mind to such a level that it is no longer subject to suffering. The mind breaks free from suffering by virtue of the clear knowledge that nothing is worth grasping at or clinging to. This knowledge deprives worldly things of their ability to lead the mind into further thoughtless liking or disliking. Having this knowledge, the mind transcends the worldly condition and attains the level known as the supramundane. Supramundane. Supramund. Su. S U P R A. Moon. New York. เหนือโลกหรือว่าเหนือโลกอ่านว่าคำว่าอ่านว่าเหนือโลกเหนือภพ supramundane 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 plane เหนือโลกนะโลกุตระภูมิ supramundane plane โลกุตระภูมิ in order to comprehend clearly the supramundane plane ภูมิเหนือโลก we have to know first about its opposite, the mundane plane โลกิยะ the mundane plane โลกิยะภูมิโลกิยภูมิ The mundane plane comprises those levels at which the things of the world have control over the mind. Very briefly, 3 levels are recognized in the mundane plane, namely the sensual level. All the level of the mind still content with pleasures of every kind. The level of forms, the condition of a mind uninterested in the sensual objects, but finding satisfaction in the various stages of concentration on forms as objects, and lastly, the formless level, the yet higher level of a mind finding satisfaction in the bliss and peace of concentration on objects other than forms. These 3 levels in the worldly plane are the mental levels of beings in general, regardless of whether we presume to call them human beings, celestial beings, gods, beasts, or denizen. Denison. Denizen,
denizen,
denizen, denizen, or denizens of home. They are all included within the three worldly levels. The mind of a person can at any particular time exist in any one of these three. It is not impossible. It is quite normal. As a rule, though, it will tend to fall back naturally to the unconcentrated sensual level. The human mind normally falls under the influence of the delightful in colors, shapes, sounds, odor, odors, or odors, taste, and tactile objects. Only on certain occasions is it able to escape from the influence of this seductive, 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 seductive things and experience the, the tranquility and bliss which comes from practicing concentration on forms or other objects. It all depends on concentration. At certain times, then a person's mind may be located in any of these levels of concentration. In India, at the time of the Buddha, this must have been fairly common because people who had gone in search of tranquility and bliss associated with the various levels of concentration were to be found living in forests all over the country. At the present time, such people are few, but it is nevertheless possible for the ordinary man to attain these levels. If someone in this world is in the process of experiencing the bliss of full concentration on a form, then for him the world consists of just that form, because he is aware of nothing else at that time, and for that person, the world is equivalent to just that one form, and it remains so until such time as his mental condition changes. Even though a person dwelling in any of these three levels may have gained such bliss and calm, tranquility, that he has come to resemble a rock, a lump of earth, or a log of wood, just yet grasping and clinging to selfhood, are still present. are still present, are still present, are still ยังคง present, are still present. Also, present are various kinds of desire are still present. Also, present are various kinds of desire. Albeit of the finest and most tenuous sort, such as dissatisfaction with the state in which he finds himself, which prompts him to go in search of a new state. That desire for change constitutes karma. So such a person has not yet transcended the worldly state. He is not yet in the supramundane plane. A mind dwelling in the supramundane plane has transcended the world. It viewed the worldly state as devoid of essence. Of devoid of essence, self, or substance, and will have nothing of it. Dweller in this supramundane plane can be further classified into grades. There are 4 levels of path and fruit, namely the levels of stream enterer, Sodapanna, Sodapatipanna. The once returner, the never returner, or Sodaban, stream enterer is Sodaban. The one returner คือ Sakitakami. The never returner คือ Anakami. And the completely perfected individual or Arahant, Arahant. The condition of these 4 kinds of noble stream enterer คือ Sodaban. Once returner คือ Sakitakami. The never returner คือ Anakami. And perfected individual คือ Arahant. The condition of these 4 kinds of noble individuals or Aryans is the supramundane condition. No. Supramundane means above the world. Supramundane means above the world and refers to the mind, not the body. The body can be anywhere at all as long as living conditions are adequate. Supermundane simply describes a mind dwelling above the world as far the meta words such as hell, purgatory, or the places of suffering, torment, and bondage. These are out of the question for the Aryans. Until page number 116. Thank you so much for effort, for reading, effort to read the Handbook for Mankind. After complete 136, that's the rest. It